Are you ready to hear the message Roman Reigns never wanted to send, but had no choice after Cody Rhodes was found covered in blood? Something went down on SmackDown that nobody saw coming, and the fallout might change War Games forever. Before we jump into the wild chaos that unfolded, let me set the stage so you know exactly why this moment is bigger than a simple attack, and why Roman's words shook the entire WWE Universe. This episode of SmackDown didn't open with pyro, cheers, or even a match. It opened with tension you could feel through the screen. Paul Heyman was already standing in the ring with the Vision. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, a lineup that looked like a warning sign someone forgot to turn off. Heyman had that combat, terrifying look on his face. The one you get right before something explodes. He held his mic like it was a remote control for the whole WWE world, ready to switch everything into chaos mode. He introduced himself with that slow tone he always uses when he wants you to pay attention, and then he said it. He said he had a vision for War Games. The crowd didn't know what to expect, but they knew it was going to be dangerous. When H-Mon has a plan, someone usually leaves on a stretcher, but before he could even get into his master plan, out came Jimmy and Jey Uso. The pop from the crowd was so loud you could feel the arena shake. These were two men who had lived through years under the Roman Reigns system, broke free, fought back, and were now standing strong. Jey grabbed the mic and didn't waste a second. He told H-Mon straight up that nobody wanted to hear what he had to say. You could almost see Heyman's eye twitch. Then Jey dropped a little bomb. He said he and Jimmy took care of H-Mon's crew on Monday night. It was like throwing gasoline on a fire. Heyman's face tightened and suddenly the calm disappeared. He told them they pissed off Logan Paul, and honestly that alone is a headache nobody needs. Then H-Mon went deeper, and this is where everything changed. He said when he created the bloodline, he did it so the family could eat instead of live off Roman. It wasn't a compliment, it was a slap. Then he said the numbers game always wins. And he didn't even hide the threat. He counted how many people he had in the ring, how many the Usos had on the floor, and pointed out the obvious. The Yos were outnumbered. Again, he said they'd either get beaten badly or they were just too stupid to realize what was coming. Jimmy stepped forward, and with that cool confidence the Yos are born with, he said they learned from the best, but he wasn't talking about Heyman. He wasn't talking about Logan. He was talking about Roman Reigns, and he followed it up by saying they didn't come alone, and that's when Cody Rhodes' theme music hit. The crowd went crazy. The reaction was like a superhero had arrived, but Cody never walked out. The music hit, but nothing happened. That's the moment everything started feeling wrong. The cameras cut backstage, and what we saw was the last thing anyone expected. Drew McIntyre walked out of Cody's own bus laughing, and inside Cody was bloodied, barely conscious, trying to sit up. Jimmy and Jey sprinted to the back like their lives depended on it. Officials swarmed the scene trying to keep Cody awake, and Drew didn't care. He casually slid into a car, leaned out the window, and said, "See you at War Games, champ." Then he drove off laughing like it was a normal Monday morning. And Corey Graves immediately pointed out the worst part. Drew hadn't entered the arena. Technically, no rules were broken. No fines, no suspensions, no consequences. Inside Cody's bus, the American Nightmare didn't look like a man preparing for War Games anymore. He looked like a man fighting just to stay conscious. His head was bleeding. His eyes were barely open. The Yos kept calling his name, trying to keep him awake. Everyone was shouting, panicking, trying to get medical help faster. And right when fans thought the madness was finally over, a new twist hit. Roman Reigns sent a message. The tribal chief, the head of the table, the man Cody has been chasing for almost 2 years. Roman has not been seen on SmackDown for weeks. He hasn't stepped into the ring, he hasn't cut promo, he hasn't given any hints. But this moment, this crossed a line even Roman couldn't ignore. His message wasn't angry, it wasn't explosive, it wasn't said like a champion, it was said like a man who actually cared. He said, "Do not worry, my friend. We will take revenge." At War Games, one sentence, one shockwave. Roman calling Cody my friend cracked the internet in half. Roman saying, "We made everyone rewatch the clip 5 times. Roman talking about revenge. That wasn't tribal chief energy. That was something more personal, something way more dangerous. This moment opens a door nobody thought would ever be opened again. Roman Reigns siding with Cody Rhodes for even a second wasn't on anyone's list of possibilities. Not after WrestleMania. Not after the mind games. Not after years of battle. But when Drew McIntyre crossed the line and attacked Cody outside the arena, Roman stepped in like someone protecting something that belonged to him. Here's what makes this even more wild. Roman isn't a man who forgives. He isn't a man who forgets. He isn't even a man who speaks unless he absolutely needs to. The fact that this moment pushed him to talk says more than his words ever could. And with War Games coming up, this message changed the entire game plan, because now it's not just Cody versus Drew. And it's not just the Vision versus the Yos. It's War Games with Roman watching from the shadows, waiting for his moment. And when Roman waits, it's never peaceful. Let's break down why this moment matters, what it means, and what could happen next. For Cody Rhodes, the attack wasn't just a cheap shot. It was a warning. Drew has snapped, but it wasn't a random attack. Drew made it personal. He went to Cody's bus, he waited, he planned. He made sure there was no crowd, no refs, no rules. When someone uses that much effort just to hurt you, it means the war already started. What makes this even more dangerous is Drew's mindset. He keeps saying he's doing what should have been done long ago, that he's not the bad guy, that he's simply correcting things. That mindset makes him unpredictable, and unpredictable men inside war games are a nightmare. Then we have the Yos. Jimmy and Jay have spent years fighting. Breaking up, coming together, breaking apart again, and trying to fix the mess Roman left behind. But the Cody attack brought something out of them. Loyalty, real loyalty. They didn't think, they sprinted. They tried to help Cody because Cody trusted them to have his back. Now War Games isn't just a match for them, payback. And then there's Heyman's vision. Braun Breaker is a freak of nature. Bronson Reed is a tank. Logan Paul is loud, annoying, and weirdly talented at everything he touches. This group is a nightmare squad, and War Games is built for nightmares like them. But we can't ignore the biggest piece of this puzzle. Roman Reigns. Roman sending that message lights a fuse. Because Roman's presence makes everything more unpredictable. The crowd is already whispering. Will he show up at War Games? Is he coming for Drew? Is he coming for Logan? Is he helping Cody? Is he helping the Yos? Or is he quietly planning something for himself? Roman is like a wolf that doesn't bark. He doesn't warn, he strikes, and when he said we, it made everyone wonder if the old bloodline is about to reform for one deadly night. Now let's dive deeper into the real challenge ahead. War Games is not just a match. It's a battlefield. 2 rings, 1 giant cage, no escape, no way out. War Games chews up bodies, spits out careers, and leaves scars that last for years. Drew is coming in hot with anger. The Yos are going in with pure emotion. Cody is going in hurt, and Hmon's vision is going in with a plan. That combination can explode in 100 different ways, and Roman's message made everything 10 times more explosive. The biggest question right now is whether Cody will even be 100%. That attack wasn't light. Cody might be the heart of his team, but a bruised head and blood loss don't care about heart. Inside War Games, 1 second of weakness can cost the whole team. And imagine this. What if Drew uses Cody's injury during the match? What if he targets the exact spot where he struck him? Cody's entire War Games run could become a fight for survival instead of a fight for victory. Then there's the issue of numbers. Heyman wasn't lying. His team is stacked. Logan, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed together are like trying to fight a car, a truck, and a train at the same time. Cody's side needs help. The Yos are strong, but 3 men cannot beat that lineup alone. They need someone who understands war. They need someone who knows Drew better than Drew knows himself. They need someone who has beaten Logan Paul. They need someone who has led teams into battles like this before. They need Roman Reigns. Even saying that sounds unreal. But Roman's message hinted that the old fire inside him hasn't gone out. Roman may not want the spotlight right now, but when someone hurts a man he respects, Roman takes it personally. Imagine the shock if Roman walks into War Games not as a champion, not as the tribal chief, but as a man coming to collect a debt. If Roman shows up, the entire match flips upside down. The Vision would panic. Drew would lose focus. Logan's confidence would drop like a rock, and the crowd would explode. War Games would become Roman's playground again. Now let's zoom out and talk about why this moment is even bigger than the match itself. Roman calling Cody my friend is huge. These two went to war twice. They had a finish that split the fan base right down the middle. Cody has spent almost 2 years telling Roman, I'm taking your story and finishing it. Roman spent those same 2 years telling him, no you're not, but this is different. Roman didn't sound like the tribal chief. He sounded like a man who respects Cody's fight, a man who sees what Cody has been through, a man who might not be ready to team with him but is ready to protect him. This moment could be the beginning of something nobody ever thought possible. A true temporary alliance between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Not as enemies, not as rivals, but as warriors fighting a common enemy. And if that happens, Drew McIntyre is in the biggest trouble of his career. Cody wants justice. The Yos want revenge. Roman wants payback. Drew might have started a war he can't win. As SmackDown fades out, the camera shows Cody being lifted onto a stretcher, weak, groggy, but still trying to sit up. The Usos look terrified. Officials shout for space. And somewhere in the distance, Drew speeds away like he's proud of what he did. The final words of that night weren't Hmon's. They weren't Drew's, they weren't Logan's, they were Roman's. We will take revenge at War Games. That's not a threat, that's a promise. And when Roman makes a promise, someone always pays the price. War Games just became personal, and now everyone is waiting for the next move. Will Roman show up? Will Cody recover in time? Will Drew go even further? The answers are coming. And when they do, the WWE Universe might never be the same. Thanks for watching Wrestling News WWE. Stay tuned. The next chapter is about to get even crazier.